This is the warm-up that I use for my team's pre-match. It's a very simple setup to begin with. You'll see that there's cones set up 3 yards from the sideline to the first cone, and then 4 cones set a foot apart before 10 yards to the final cone. The players will run through twice, nice and easy. They will skip through twice, pushing up onto the toes, activating the calves, trying to get as much height as possible rather than distance forward. They will do straight leg swings twice through, going up about waist height, nothing too strenuous at this point. They will then open the gate twice and close the gate twice, which, as many of you will know, is opening the groin and closing the groin. They will then do what I call a cross pass, which, if you can imagine passing to your left hand side, you would use your right foot. Imagine passing to your right hand side, you would use your left foot. And it is just a short, sharp movement trying to activate the glutes. If as you pass across to one of your sides you don't feel that your glutes are being activated, as you pass to your left hand side, for example with your right foot, you would twist your torso towards the right hand side, so away from the pass. After that, players would go into lunges, and whichever leg is up, whichever one is not touching the ground with their knee, you would twist that way. So if I'm lunging with my left leg forward, I would also twist my upper body towards the left. After that, players go into a T-shape. Now a T-shape for me is, as a player steps with their left foot, their upper body comes forward, their right leg goes straight back out, and they try and make a T-shape with their body. If you do this, you will feel it in the hamstring of the leg that is straight down to the ground. Following that, players go in to do skipping twice through. The first time they do it, the arms will roll forward for halfway through the setup, and halfway through they change to the arms rolling backwards. Second time they go through, arms are moving across the body rather than forwards and backwards. Players then go into running through 3 times, 70, 80 and 90% of their maximum, and they will start on the end line and they fall forwards as far as they can without actually falling, and when they get to that final point before they think they're losing control, that's when they burst into the run. At this point, players go and grab a drink and then move into the second part of the warm-up. This is what I call long and narrow, short and wide. Now, the first part of it, the long and narrow, is following the blue cones, and the blue team will start and they will try and make their way up to break the line of the box on the right hand side. If they're successful, the player who dribbles across the line cannot be tackled. However, if he passes the ball back in and it can be intercepted, the red team should intercept it. They're then trying to make their way back up to the line on the edge of the box on the left hand side, and teams just move backwards and forwards, trying to make penetrative passes and penetrative runs in a long but narrow setup. If the Reds are successful in stealing the ball, they just go in the opposite direction to the blue team. After 5 or 6 minutes of this, I then move into the short and wide aspect of it. Now, the Blues would defend the 3 gates at the top, the Reds would defend the 3 gates at the bottom, and they are trying to pass through these gates. So in the first section, we're looking for penetrative passes, penetrative runs, penetrative dribbles. Now we're looking at, can we work in our unit? So I normally have the defensive 4 and one of the midfielders against one of the midfielders and the attacking 4 playing side to side. Can we move the ball side to side to try and look for options? So if we're attacking one of the goals and the defenders do a good job, can we come back and look to the centre or look to the opposite side? Players will do that for another 6 to 7 minutes. Once they've done that, I'll give them free time. I'll ask the players to get into their groups of playing with the players next to them or players in front of them and do position specific passing and moving. So in this example, you'll see that we've got A as the wingers and fullbacks who might be working on overlaps and crossing. B will be our strikers and goalkeeper working on finishing. C could be the defenders working on heading or passing out from the back, and D would be our midfielders working on a bit of combination play or some midfield rotational movements. After this, players will grab a quick drink and then they'll come back in for the final setup of this. Now, this is where players will come through and they'll do it twice, where one foot goes in each of the rungs of the ladder before a sprint, They do that twice, and then they'll put 2 feet in each of the rungs before a quick sprint. This is the final moments before kick-off and before they walk out with the referee. So on their way back in, they'll grab a quick drink, line up with the referee, and then hopefully they'll be ready for kick-off.